I am a Jedi, like my father before me.
Silly Jedi! Silly Jedi!
Remember, the Force will be with you, always.
You must unlearn what you have learned.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Jedi Toy Masters Star Wars Car Talk. And this week, we're going to have a short episode just to give you a disclaimer. This is going to be a pretty short episode. The reason being is that I've been under the weather all week. And even right now, as I'm recording this and driving in the car, I can feel my throat starting to give up. And I haven't had my coffee or tea or anything yet, so I'm going to try to cut it short this week. But if you want some more Star Wars car talk, you can check out some of our previous episodes that we've done over the last few months, and you can enjoy those. But for this week, I just going to want to touch on some news that has been coming out. You know, there's the New York Toy Con is coming up, and you know, I've always wanted to go to that. It's really kind of tough to get in because you got to have all these credentials and you got to be kind of like part of either the toy industry or in retail, you know, or be associated with some kind, anything that has to do with, you know, toys on either on sales, marketing, or whatever. So I haven't been able to go to that, but you know, it's as soon as the toy fair happens, news starts to come out. You know, people that do go there, that do have access to go, they start posting pictures online and what have you. So some of the first images that have been popping up this week on social media is this new Hasbro is kind of getting ready to launch this new wave of, you know, I don't even know. Like, it's I guess you could call it a new wave of action figure sets that are Star Wars. And if you look at the photos, like I'll try to post a couple right here as I'm talking. And if you're listening to this in podcast form, please I'll put a link to the show in the description. And you can also, when you get a chance, you can just go and watch it so you can see the images. But I'll also post them on Instagram on my Insta story, which is at Jedi Toy Masters on Instagram. And it's like a 2 and 3/4, I think, inch figure and a vehicle. Like they have the Mandalorian on a speeder and a Baby Yoda and a couple of other figures, but it's not the a Galaxy of Adventure figures that they kind of they released this past fall that are, I think, 4-inch or 5-inch figures. These are 2 and 2.75, I believe. And I gotta say, this is a weird move by Hasbro. Very weird that they would just completely, I mean, they're basically done with the 3 3/4 inch, you know, standard figures. They're releasing the vintage collection as their 3 3/4 line, but those are kind of like premium figures because they're the vintage collection. And now, then they release a whole wave, 2 waves actually, of the 5-inch Galaxy of Adventure figures, which I'll post a couple pictures as I'm calling them out. And now there's this new line that's going to be coming out. Like who are these for? Is my question. You know, the 5-inch figures, I think for the most part, I would venture to guess, have not been selling well, have not been doing well. Every store that I've been to, whether it's a Target or a Walmart, or wherever else has a legit toy section that you see these figures there, they're always the pegs are always full, you know, and they're not bad figures. they're actually not. Like, I think if they were priced a little bit less, and this is like the ongoing issue with Hasbro, that they overprice their products. I don't know why, but they overprice them, and then they, you know, the stores are kind of forced to eventually discount them and put them on clearance, and that's when they sell, or they don't sell at all, and then they end up at like a Five Below or like a Burlington Coat Factory or Marshalls or TJ Maxx. Like, you know, this inventory doesn't sell, and part of it is because the price, and also they don't release full waves of figures, of collections. Like, you know, they'll release Kylo Ren and Rey, okay, and then they'll release a Stormtrooper, and like they had the droid set, which was like, I think BB-8, Dio, and R2-D2. Okay, that's great, but like from a child's perspective, like if I'm a kid and I want to play and I want to recreate scenes from the movie or recreate adventures from the Star Wars characters, like give me more characters that I can tell my parents to buy me, and then price them at a competitive price, at a good price, where, you know, parents don't have to like take out a second mortgage just to like buy their kid a whole collection of action figures for them to play with. You know, if the point is to have kids of a new generation get into Star Wars collecting and Star Wars toy collecting, and, you know, play with these toys, and this new line of these Galaxy of Adventure 5-inch figures is their entryway, because there's no more 3 3/4, and the vintage collection are kind of like a premium figure that not everyone can afford or wants to pay the premium for, except for like OG collectors, like and OG fans of Star Wars. Then okay, but, you know, again, price them competitively. I think when they came out, and I think you still see them in stores, they're $10 a figure, $9.99 a figure. Like, that's more than what you were pricing 3 3/4-inch figures with the last wave of actual 3 3/4s that you put out, which I think was the Solo movie line, that Solo collection that came out wave. You know, like what? Why am I going to pay $10 per figure? Now, I understand it's 2020, you know, prices go up, you know, inflation, blah, 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 blah. But you can't, no, that's like, we're not going to buy that anymore. Like, when you have discount stores and like the Five Belows and all these other stores selling these figures after nobody buys them, selling them for $5, for $3, then, you know, you trying to get away with selling a figure for $10 is outrageous. So, you know, if those Galaxy of Adventure figures were $4.99, $5.99, then yeah, I can see a parent saying, oh, these are cool. Plus, if you had more variety, now that I think two whole waves of these figures have come out, so now there's like a Han Solo, there's a Chewie, and they're actually kind of cool figures. They're based on these little animated shorts that you can watch them on YouTube, on the Star Wars Kids YouTube channel, and they're cool looking figures. Like, I can totally see myself, like, you know, getting down on the floor and playing with my sons with these figures, because they look a little bit more durable, you know, they're a little bit bigger, so it's not like having a Black Series 6-inch figure in your hand, but it still has that nice oomph because it's a 5-inch figure where you can, you know, you can play with them and toss them, and they look pretty durable. Good posability they look like they have. So yeah, those are cool, you know, and especially if Star Wars, if Lucasfilm or whoever put out these little shorts, the Galaxy of Adventure shorts, like if they were to develop that as an actual like series where you have the original trilogy character and maybe even eventually the prequel trilogy characters and the sequel trilogy characters go on little side adventures, and you have like these little 20-minute cartoons episodes, and then this is the toy line that it's based off, then yeah, I could see it totally blowing up. But they're not doing that. They put out these 2 waves, and that was it. And they just sit there. They're $10 a figure. The Droid 3-pack, which is BB-8, R2-D2, and Dio, $15. Like, who's gonna spend? Why would I spend $15 on that when I'm already collecting 3 3/4-inch Star Wars figures? Like, most parents that are into Star Wars, that have kids that are into Star Wars, have some Star Wars toys. So kids are just going to play with those, plus whatever new ones you get them. So I really don't understand the strategy that Hasbro is doing. And now they're going to put out this like new line of 2-inch figures, like 2 3/4-inch figures. Like, what is going on? Like, I just really don't get what Hasbro is doing. I really don't understand it. It's really kind of confusing and frustrating. They just announced like a couple weeks ago that they released photos and there's pre-orders for that amazing troop transport that's part of the vintage collection line. Like, they're still producing really nice quality toys that are based on Star Wars, but yet then they go and they do something like this where they're going to release a few toys in this 2.75-inch configuration, and who is it for? Like, is it for younger kids? Then why did you do the Galaxy of Adventure 5-inch line? Like, anyway, I just wanted to touch base on that and give you my thoughts, because it's kind of ridiculous what Hasbro's doing. Like, I don't know. They seem to have lost touch with what kids like. I mean, I'm an adult. I'm a grown man, and I have 3 small sons, you know, that I see what they like. I see how they play. I see what they do, and it's not that different from when I was a kid. So when I was a kid, I wanted to go to a toy store, and if I was into G.I. Joe, I wanted to grab as many G.I. Joe as my parents would buy me so I can create my own G.I. Joe adventure. And if I was playing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, well, I was watching Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on TV, just like G.I. Joe, and I wanted to recreate those adventures, so I wanted all 4 turtles. So if you're gonna, release toys that are based on Star Wars, well, you already have the films, and you have The Mandalorian as a TV show, so I get it, but, release an entire line of toys, and don't change up the sizes every couple years. Like, why? How is that better? How is a 5-inch figure going to be more appealing than the standard 3 3/4-inch figure that we've had since the late 70s? So anyway, Hasbro, they're never going to hear this, but if they do, I just really hope you guys get it together and really give the fans and the kids what they want. As a parent, I love being able to buy my kid a collection. Like, if they're into Power Rangers, okay, then we get them the Rangers, and we get them as much. One of my sons got really into Voltron when they stumbled onto the Netflix series that came out a few years ago, and he loves it, and he just wanted a Voltron for Christmas, and I was in a panic because you can't find Voltron toys anymore. And luckily I found, oh man, this sun is killing me. Luckily I found at a store called Amazing Savings, over the holidays, they had an inventory of Voltron toys that I guess didn't sell. And they had all 5 lions, and they're these massive lions that you can put them together and create Voltron. And that was amazing. I was able to buy the whole thing for him. He opened it up on Christmas, and he was ecstatic. He loved it. So, like, it's great to be able to find the entire collection of something to be able to buy your kids, and not just have a few toys here, a few toys there, that then they're going to lose interest because, well, I have this guy, but we were never able to get the other characters, so it's like I can't, my playtime is incomplete. That's what you're doing, Hasbro. You're not completing our playtime. So anyway, that's it for this week. I just really wanted to touch base and give my 2 cents on that. What are your thoughts on this whole Hasbro and how the direction that they're taking the toy lines? And now that they have G.I. Joe, they have a lot of toy lines under their belt, and it's just going to be interesting to see what they do with them, because I don't really think they're doing a great job with Star Wars, except for the vintage collection. I think the vintage collection I just really wish they would release more toys, that they would be confident enough to release more toys in that line and more play sets. So anyway, if you like this video, please like and subscribe. If you're listening on podcast form, please give us a nice review on Apple Podcasts if you're listening to it on that. And make sure you're also subscribed. Check us out every week. Check us out on our YouTube channel. Check out our other videos. And check us out on Instagram at Jedi Toy Masters. I'm done. I'm sick. I need some soup. See you next week, guys. May the Force be with you.